While everyone was sleeping, they pulled a fast one on us. That's right. When all of us thought that nothing could get through the parliament, they pulled a fast one on us. The Senate passes a bill to protect supply management from any future trade deals. Ladies and gents, welcome back. Hey, if you're new here, my name's Clyde. Welcome to the show. Subscribe button is right down there. Let's get into this story. Now, it was only a few months ago, back in February, that they were doing trade negotiations with the United States. The premiers of all the provinces went down to the United States to say, hey, we're going to make some negotiations and some concessions on some things. Well, leave it up to Quebec to say, no, we're not making any concessions on dairy.
No, I just want to say a few words on dairy. In Quebec, we are against changing the management of the offer. The reason why we have that is to protect our regions, all right? So we don't give any subsidies to milk producer. So the only thing we do is we manage the offer, and it's a way to protect small farms in all the regions. So for us, it's not negotiable.
It's not negotiable. And this was a thing that was not negotiable for some time, actually, in government back in 2024 in January, when making negotiations with our oldest trading partner, England. They walked away from the table. That's right. They said 250% tariffs on cheese and dairy products. Forget it. Next time, if you want to wear your big boy pants and come to the table, we'll be willing to talk. But until then, we don't want to negotiate with you. They really said we're not a serious country. Now, this is the bill that went through. Let's look at the writ of the bill. This was rammed through, by the way, in both the Parliament and the Senate. Like, we're talking serious time that, like, fast tracking. I've never seen anything move through the government like this. We're used to the speed of government. This is not the speed of government. It was first introduced on May 29th this year, 2025, Thursday, May 29th. It went through first, second, and third reading by June 5th in the House of Commons. Wow. They did that in 6 days. That's incredible. And then it went to the Senate, and it went from June 10th to June 17th. It went first, second, third reading, passed. This is crazy. If being rammed through, I mean, there's no other word for it. Now, this was a previous bill, and it got left behind because it didn't go through in the last Parliament session. So they rammed it through this time. But this is the bill. Bill C-202, an act to amend the Department of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Development Act, Supply Management. It has only supply management. This is not a long bill. This is a very short bill, and it has one thing in it and one thing only. Usually you have things buried in bills. It's a long bill, and then they'll bury something in there, which is their actual attempt, and then they'll call it like an act to save the butterflies and make rainbows and happiness all around the country. But no, this is the one thing and one thing only, and just unanimously, just boom, right through. Department of Foreign Affairs Trade and Development Act, Section 10 of the Department of Foreign Affairs Trade and Development Act is amended by adding the following subsection to the amendments here. Supply management. In exercising its and performing its powers, the duties and functions set out in subsection 2, the minister must not make any commitment on behalf of the government of Canada by international trade treaty or agreement that would have the effect of A, increasing the tariff rate quota within the meaning of subsection 2 of the customs tariff applicable to dairy products, poultry, or eggs, or by reducing the tariff applicable to the goods when they are imported in excess of the applicable tariff rate quota. Basically saying, no, we're going to keep this dairy supply management thing, and no trade negotiations are going to do anything about it. no when Donald Trump comes to the table and says, no, you're going to move that, they're legally not even allowed to. And the Senate passes this bill to protect supply management from any future trade deals. It does seem strange to allow Separatist Party to set Canada's national trade policy to such an extent, said Senator Paula Simons. Now, going into this is a big win for the Bloc Québécois and doing the thing to protect the milk dairy lobby of the mafiosos. It is a mafia. It is a mafia. This is the kind of lobby that can make or break politicians. They'll decide who's going to be the prime minister, perhaps, in the future. They've this famously ended the career of Maxime Bernier when he went against them, and they picked the lobby picked Andrew Scheer over him in the leadership race. And that was the end of that guy's career. It's unbelievable the power that they have in this. Now, getting down into the article, many senators still had some reservations on Tuesday. In a speech in the Senate, Alberta Senator Paula Simons expressed concerns about what Bill C-202 means for national unity, because it was from a Bloc Québécois, which advocates for the separation of Quebec from the rest of Canada. It does seem strange to allow a separatist party to set an international trade policy to such an extent, and the express of Western Canadian producers, agricultural supporters, she said. Now, Parliament exclusively studied an earlier version of the bill during the last legislature. The Senate committee heard from numerous witnesses, including the government trade negotiators. From a trade negotiation perspective, the passage of the bill would certainly narrow the range of concessions that could be made to reach an agreement, said Doug Forsyth, the director of General Market Access and Trade Controls Bureau at Global Affairs Canada. But you know what? Forget that guy. Let's just ram this thing through. This is, I think it would be reasonable to expect future negotiation partners to adjust their own approach to negotiations with Canada, he added, which is a polite way of saying they're just going to walk away from the table, or we're not going to get good deals on other things. So when we won't make negotiations on this, they're going to give us some pretty bad deals when it comes to entering the markets of other countries. This is just the reality of the situation. And what is the goal of this? Well, it's to protect a few people out there. It really is to protect a few particular people in the industry, a few cronies that get special treatment. They get quotas that they're allowed to. Actually, this is the funniest part, because a lot of people will tell you, no, it's about saving us from dairy from the United States because it's so harmful. It's got the growth hormones in it. Now, I had the food professor, Dr. Sylvain Charlebois, on the show, and he talked about this specifically, and it's just a myth.
I mean, generally speaking, the quality of dairy products in the U.S. is very good, and they often use that argument of BST, and BST is that growth hormone that is used. It's allowed in the U.S. and it's disallowed in Canada, so it's all true. But barely 2% of farmers in the U.S. will use growth hormones, and it's not for the human chain at all. And so if you go to the grocery store in the U.S., you will not find dairy milk coming from cows that were fed growth hormones. So it's a false argument. They're often using the argument and saying, well, Canadian milk is superior. Well, do you have any evidence of that? There is no evidence of that.
No, there is no evidence of that at all. And you won't even know if you're consuming American dairy anyway, because the quota system, there's no legal mandate or any legal thing to stop them from selling you the stuff that does come in through the quota system. And they don't have to label it as made in America milk, that kind of thing. It's just put into products and you'll never know. But the reality is this is the practice that you'll see all the time here in Canada. And what is this? What's actually happening here? It's such a weird scene to see. And like, why are these tankers dumping milk into a farmer's field by we're talking tens of thousands of liters at a time? It's unbelievable. This is not a strange scene to see, and one farmer came out a few years ago to tell everybody about this.
Hey guys, we're here at Hugonbros Farm in southern Ontario. We milk about 260 cows. Right now during the winter months, you milk quite a bit more milk because the feed is very consistent. And as you do a good job, you will produce quite a bit of milk. So, but right now we're over our quota. It's regulated by the government and by the DFO. But the problem is what they don't understand is millions of people look at this milk running away because it's the end of the month. So I have to dump 30,000 liters of milk. It breaks my heart. I will show you. By the way, this here Canadian milk, it's $7 a liter. When I go for my haircut, people say, wow, $7, Jerry, for a little bit of milk. I say, well, you have to go higher up because we have no say anymore as a dairy farmer on our own farm because they make us dump it. And no matter how we stand up, so this time I'm going public. I want the people to see the pain that us growers have of 365 days. As a little boy, we grew up on a dairy farm, came from Europe, work, and here we are. This is what's happening. Oh, by the way, only one country in the world here in Canada. There's not the United States, not Europe, where they dump thousands of liters when they're over. But we're not supposed to talk about this because, I don't know, it's just one of those things. But as it's happening, I hope the DFO does look at this and says to themselves, you tell me, if you're in the pig business, the wood industry, any steel industry, if you're 10% over when your times are good, how can you, so for us when it's good, our little bit of profit, it goes down the drain. How you guys dare to put this product on the market for $7 a liter and think that that's okay when there's a lot of mothers, single mothers with no extra, like they have maybe a few kids to feed or whatever, or the sick kids hospital it could go to. It could go anywhere, to the food banks. But I hope you're proud, and I think you're going to be surprised, because yes, my name is Jerry Hugan. And I'm very proud that we send a really good product. And that you just kind of tell us, well, throw it down the drain. Nobody sees it. It's okay. But it's not okay.
No, it's not okay. And this is the reality of the situation. Jerry came out very publicly about this and then quickly went away. He quickly stopped talking to anybody. And well, we could just infer probably why that is, when politicians' careers can be made or broken by this mafia that exists in Canada. This is where we're at with this, and it's absolutely ridiculous that they're holding us so hostage in the marketplace. And Canadians, you know, what benefit do we get out of this? Nothing. We get nothing. We get actually detriment. We get a lot of detriment because it makes food more expensive in our own country to have this lobby. So we could have expensive milk, expensive cheese. Ask anyone who's from another country or who's visited another country what the prices of cheese are elsewhere in other places. It is astronomically just crazy, the price of dairy in this country. And the quality, believe me, if you've been anywhere else, you'd know that it's not actually all that great. So I'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. What do you think of all of this, especially with this being rammed through the parliament? Apparently the government can't really accomplish much these days. Well, they sure accomplished this. This is something they were absolutely able to do. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. And we'll see you tonight in the live stream. Tune in at 6:30 Pacific time. We'll see you then. Keep on trucking.